Ethan Rivers was the kind of man who believed the world revolved around him. His life was a glittering parade of luxury cars, million-dollar suits, and high-rise penthouses. Wherever he went, people whispered his name. Ethan, the ruthless billionaire who could buy anything he wanted. Power, prestige, and perfection were his currency, and he never settled for less. At the grand opening of one of his newest luxury hotels, Ethan stood in the center of attention, holding a glass of expensive champagne. The room sparkled with gold chandeliers and crystal-clear laughter. Beautiful people surrounded him, drawn to his charm like moths to a flame. But Ethan found it all dull. The same shallow conversations, the same perfect faces. His two closest friends, Marcus and Dylan, lounged nearby, both equally wealthy, but not nearly as influential. They had been friends since college, bonded by arrogance and competition. Marcus smiled, swirling his drink. "Ethan, you've had everything handed to you. Money, women, success. Is there anything you can't get?" Ethan chuckled, his confidence unshaken. "I get what I want because I know how to play the game. Life is simple when you're at the top." Marcus leaned forward, his eyes glinting with mischief. "Then let's make it interesting. I bet you can't marry a woman who doesn't fit your perfect standards. Someone you'd never even notice." Dylan laughed. "Yeah, someone who's not model thin or dripping in designer brands. How about someone who's plus-sized?" Ethan raised an eyebrow, his pride poked. "Is that all? That's too easy." Marcus grinned. "But there's a catch. You have to convince her to marry you and stay married for at least 6 months. No cheating your way out of it. Think you can handle that?" Ethan's ego refused to back down. The idea sounded ridiculous, but the challenge ignited something in him. He thrived on winning, especially when others doubted him. "You're on," Ethan said smoothly, shaking Marcus's hand. "Consider it done." Ethan didn't waste time. A week later, he attended a charity event, hosted by one of his business partners. The crowd was the usual blend of wealth and influence, until his eyes landed on Naomi Blake. She wasn't like the other women in the room. Naomi was plus-sized, unapologetically so, dressed in a simple yellow dress that complemented her rich, dark skin. Her curly hair framed her face beautifully, and her eyes sparkled with intelligence and quiet strength. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She didn't need to. Ethan approached her with the same charm he used on everyone. "I haven't seen you around before. I'm Ethan Rivers." Naomi glanced at him, unimpressed. "Good for you." Ethan blinked, momentarily thrown off. No woman had ever responded to him like that. Naomi turned back to her conversation, clearly uninterested. Ethan's pride prickled. This wasn't how things worked. People didn't ignore Ethan Rivers. Determined to win, he leaned in, his voice smooth. "You're different. I like that." Naomi sighed, finally facing him fully. "And you're exactly what I expected. A man who thinks the world owes him attention." Ethan's smile faltered, but only for a second. This wasn't rejection. It was a challenge. And Ethan never backed down from a challenge. Ethan became obsessed, not with Naomi herself, but with the fact that she wasn't falling for his usual tricks. He sent flowers, invitations to exclusive events, even expensive gifts. Naomi refused them all. She wasn't impressed by wealth, and that frustrated him. Determined, Ethan decided to change his approach. Instead of flaunting his money, he pretended to be genuinely interested. He asked about her work. She was a community organizer, passionate about social issues. He listened, or at least pretended to, nodding at all the right moments. But Naomi wasn't easily fooled. "You're not really listening," she said one evening after he'd cornered her at a cafe. "You're just waiting for me to be impressed." Ethan forced a laugh. "Is it that obvious?" "Yes." For once, Ethan didn't know what to say. But deep down, something unexpected stirred. Maybe it was respect, or curiosity, or the fact that Naomi saw right through him. Whatever it was, he wasn't ready to admit it. Not yet. After months of chasing, Ethan realized charm alone wouldn't win Naomi over. His pride was bruised, but he wasn't ready to lose the bet. So he decided to shock her. "Marry me," he blurted out during one of their rare conversations. Naomi stared at him, then burst into laughter. "You're not serious?" I am, Ethan insisted, trying to keep his cool. Why not? We get along. Sometimes. You challenge me. That's refreshing. Naomi shook her head. You don't even know me. That's the point, Ethan replied smoothly. Let's get to know each other. Naomi hesitated. She had no plans to get married, especially not to someone like Ethan. But there was something intriguing about his ridiculous proposal. After a long pause, she said, I'll think about it. And for the first time, Ethan felt something he couldn't control. Hope. Naomi couldn't believe she was even considering Ethan's proposal. A man like him, arrogant, rich, and used to getting his way, was the last person she'd imagined standing in front of her, asking for her hand in marriage. For days she thought about it. Her best friend Sophie warned her, Naomi, he's trouble. A man like Ethan doesn't just fall for someone like us. There's always a catch. Naomi nodded, but curiosity gnawed at her. Why her? Why now? When she finally met Ethan again, standing confidently with that same infuriating charm, she crossed her arms and said, Okay, I will marry you. Ethan's grin was victorious, though he masked it as surprise. You won't regret it. Naomi gave him a sharp look. Oh, I probably will. And with that, the game truly began. The wedding was small, a sharp contrast to the grand ceremonies Ethan was used to attending. Naomi wore a simple yet elegant dress, her natural beauty shining through. Ethan, dressed in a sleek white suit, looked like the cover of a luxury magazine. People whispered. Some guests raised eyebrows. Why was Ethan Rivers, the man who could have anyone, marrying Naomi Blake? Ethan didn't care. The bet was almost won. But when he saw Naomi walking down the aisle, something strange stirred in him, a flicker of doubt, maybe even admiration. She wasn't trying to impress anyone, she was just herself, and that was more powerful than any designer gown. They exchanged vows, both hiding their true intentions. Ethan wanted to win, Naomi wanted to understand. After the wedding, Ethan expected Naomi to be grateful, to be impressed. She wasn't. Instead, she unpacked her things in his luxurious penthouse like it was just another day. No awe, no wide-eyed excitement. Ethan watched her, confused. Aren't you going to explore? The place is bigger than most houses. Naomi glanced around. It's just walls and expensive furniture. That was the first time Ethan realized Naomi didn't care about his world, and that bothered him more than he wanted to admit. Living together wasn't easy. Ethan's arrogance clashed with Naomi's independence. You can't leave the dishes like that, Ethan snapped one morning. Naomi raised an eyebrow. Then wash them. Ethan was stunned. No one talked to him like that, but Naomi didn't care about his money or status. She treated him like an ordinary person, and that infuriated him. Yet, deep down, he admired her for it. Ethan decided to introduce Naomi to his elite circle, a fancy dinner party filled with wealthy businessmen, glamorous women, and shallow conversations. Naomi stood out, not because of her size, but because she didn't pretend. While others laughed at meaningless jokes, she stayed quiet, observing. Then someone made a rude comment about her weight. Ethan expected Naomi to be embarrassed. Instead, she calmly replied, "Is that the best insult you've got? I thought rich people were more creative." The room went silent. Ethan didn't know whether to be angry or impressed. That night, he saw Naomi differently. She wasn't fragile, she was fierce. One evening, Ethan came home late from work, exhausted and frustrated. Naomi was in the kitchen, cooking. He didn't expect her to say anything, but she placed a plate of food in front of him. "You look tired. Eat." Ethan stared at the plate, confused. No one had done that for him in years, not without expecting something in return. "Why are you being nice to me?" he asked. Naomi shrugged. "Because I can." It was simple, genuine. And for the first time, Ethan felt something he couldn't buy: comfort. Days turned into weeks. Ethan found himself looking forward to conversations with Naomi. Her honesty was refreshing, even when it annoyed him. One evening, they sat on the balcony, the city lights glowing below. "Why do you act like you're better than everyone?" Naomi asked suddenly. Ethan frowned. "Because I am." Naomi laughed, a genuine, warm laugh. "No, you're just scared. It's easier to be arrogant than vulnerable." Ethan didn't respond, because deep down, he knew she was right. Ethan couldn't sleep. Naomi's words echoed in his mind. Why did her opinion matter? Why did she matter? The next morning, he found himself watching her. How she sipped her coffee, how her hair curled naturally, how her laughter filled the room. It wasn't part of the plan. But feelings don't follow plans. Marcus visited one afternoon, smiling as he glanced at Naomi. Still playing the game, huh? Marcus whispered when Naomi left the room. Ethan's stomach twisted. It was a game. Right. But the words felt bitter now. Few days later, Naomi found an old message on Ethan's phone, one from Marcus about the bet. She didn't confront him immediately. She observed, piecing things together, the late-night whispers, the sudden interest, the perfect timing. Her heart began to crack. One evening, Naomi couldn't hold it in anymore. "Was I just a bet to you?" she asked, her voice quiet but filled with pain. Ethan froze. He tried to deny it, but the guilt was written all over his face. Naomi didn't cry. She just packed her things. Ethan watched her leave, realizing too late, it wasn't just a game anymore. Ethan's penthouse had never felt so empty. The silence was deafening, echoing through rooms filled with luxury but void of warmth. Naomi was gone, and with her she'd taken the laughter, the challenge, the spark that had unknowingly lit a fire in his heart. For days, Ethan didn't go to work. He ignored calls from Marcus and Dylan. His ego, once his greatest weapon, now felt like a heavy chain around his neck. He thought about texting Naomi, calling her, showing up at her door. But what would he say? "I'm sorry I used you." That wouldn't fix the damage. Ethan stared at the empty space where Naomi used to sit, realizing that he had everything money could buy, except the one thing he truly wanted. While Ethan wallowed in regret, Naomi tried to rebuild her life. She moved back to her small apartment, surrounded by familiar things that now felt strangely distant. Her best friend, Sophie, tried to cheer her up. "You're better off without him, Naomi. He's just another arrogant billionaire who thought he could play with your heart." Naomi nodded, but her heart disagreed. She missed him. Not the arrogant, wealthy Ethan Rivers, the man beneath the layers of pride, the one who smiled when he wasn't trying to impress, the one who shared quiet moments on the balcony, talking about nothing and everything. But love wasn't enough to erase betrayal. Ethan drafted countless messages, each one starting with, "I'm sorry," and ending with nothing. How do you apologize for breaking someone's heart? He finally decided to visit Naomi in person. He stood outside her apartment, rehearsing what to say. But when he saw her laughing with Sophie through the window, he froze. She looked happy. Ethan turned around and left, not realizing that Naomi's laughter was just a mask for her broken heart. Back in his penthouse, Ethan stared at the wedding photo Naomi had left behind. It wasn't a grand photo, just the two of them laughing at an inside joke. He realized that was the happiest he'd ever been. Not at a business deal, not with his expensive cars, but in that simple, candid moment with Naomi. For the first time in his life, Ethan Rivers felt like a failure. Marcus and Dylan visited, expecting Ethan to gloat about winning the bet. Instead, they found him sitting in the dark, surrounded by empty bottles. "You really fell for her, didn't you?" Marcus said, laughing. Ethan didn't respond. His silence was the answer. "You're pathetic," Dylan scoffed. "She was just part of the game." Ethan snapped. He grabbed Dylan by the collar, his voice low and dangerous. "She was never part of a game." Marcus pulled him back. "Then why did you make the bet?" Ethan let go, breathing heavily. "Because I was a fool." The confrontation with his friends shook Ethan. He realized he couldn't drown in guilt forever. If he wanted Naomi back, he had to fight, not with money or charm, but with honesty. For the first time in his life, Ethan Rivers was ready to be vulnerable. Ethan planned a grand gesture, because that's what rich people do, right? He rented an entire rooftop garden, filled it with candles, flowers, everything Naomi liked. But when she arrived, Naomi looked unimpressed. "Did you think this would fix everything?" she asked, her voice cold. Ethan's confidence crumbled. I needed you to know I'm sorry." Naomi shook her head. "You can't buy forgiveness, Ethan." And she walked away, leaving him standing in the flickering candlelight. Defeated, Ethan wrote Naomi a letter. No grand gestures, no fancy words, just the truth. Naomi, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to read this. But I need to say it. You weren't part of a game. You became my reality. I was too blind to see it until I lost you. I'm sorry for the bet, for the lies, for everything. But most of all, I'm sorry for not realizing you were the best thing in my life. He left the letter at her doorstep. Naomi found the letter and read it a dozen times. Her heart wanted to believe him, but her mind reminded her of the betrayal. She decided to focus on her work, trying to bury her feelings. But no matter how hard she tried, Ethan's words lingered. Weeks passed. Naomi was at a coffee shop, lost in thought, when she heard a familiar voice. Ethan. He looked different, tired, humbled. Their eyes met. No words were exchanged, but the silence spoke volumes. Naomi left without saying a word, but her heart raced the entire way home. Naomi couldn't take it anymore. She grabbed her phone and called Ethan. Meet me at the park. Now. Ethan arrived within minutes, breathless. Naomi didn't waste time. Why did you really marry me? Ethan didn't lie. At first it was the bet, but somewhere along the way, it stopped being about that. I fell for you, Naomi. Not because I wanted to, because I couldn't help it. Tears welled in Naomi's eyes. Why did it take losing me to realize that? Ethan's voice broke. Because I was scared. Naomi stared at Ethan, searching his face for any sign of deceit. All she saw was regret and love. Without thinking, she stepped forward and kissed him. It wasn't passionate or perfect. It was messy, filled with tears and forgiveness. But it was real. One evening, under the same stars they used to watch from Ethan's balcony, he got down on one knee. No bets, no games, just me, asking you to marry me because I love you. Naomi smiled through tears. Yes. Their second wedding was different. No grand parties, no whispers. Just close friends, family, and genuine love. Ethan realized he didn't need to win a bet. He'd already won the greatest prize, Naomi's heart. Married life the second time around was nothing like the first. This time, Ethan and Naomi were not strangers hiding behind pretenses. They were partners, learning the beauty and complexity of genuine love. Gone were the days of silent breakfasts and awkward conversations. Instead, they filled their mornings with laughter and their evenings with deep talks about life, fears, and dreams. A false rumor spread in the media about Ethan having an affair with a business associate. Naomi confronted him calmly. I need to hear it from you. Ethan was furious, not at Naomi, but at how quickly lies spread. But instead of getting defensive, he remembered how trust had been broken before. I didn't do it, and I'll prove it, not because I need to clear my name, but because I never want you to doubt me. His honesty, without the usual arrogance, was all Naomi needed. One rainy night, Naomi fainted unexpectedly. Ethan rushed her to the hospital, fear gripping him like never before. Hours felt like days until the doctor finally smiled. Congratulations, Mr. Rivers. Your wife is pregnant. Ethan's heart exploded with emotions he'd never felt. Joy, fear, overwhelming love. For the first time, he wasn't just thinking about himself. He was going to be a father. Few months later, Naomi went into labor unexpectedly. The rush to the hospital was chaotic, filled with panic and fear. Hours later, Ethan held their newborn daughter in his arms. Tears streamed down his face as he whispered, "You're the best thing I never knew I needed." Naomi smiled weakly. That's what I said about you. On their anniversary, Ethan surprised Naomi, not with expensive gifts, but with a scrapbook of their journey. Each page was filled with memories, good and bad. Because love isn't perfect, it's real. Naomi received a message from an old friend who once doubted her marriage. She smiled as she replied, "Turns out, love can change people, even the ones you least expect." On a quiet evening, Ethan whispered to Naomi, "You were never a bet." "You were the lesson I needed most," Naomi smiled, "and you were my unexpected blessing." Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.